Hello, welcome everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you know, the last time I have uploaded higher tier paper May 2023 paper 1 and it was still question number 14 and today I'll be doing from question number 15. Apart from that, I'm just in this section I'm uploading like a 45 days plan of revising for your mocks. So definitely it's gonna help you, and if you'll be sincere for this, it will definitely gonna help you for your main GCSEs. And also the classes are at just £6 per hour for all the subjects. So if you want to enroll for these classes, these are live online classes. You and me will be meeting. You can ask your questions. So just drop us an email at exactadmin@gmail.com. So let me start with this question. The equation of a line L1 is y equals 2x minus 5. And the equation of line L2 is 6cy plus kx minus 12 equals 0. The relationship between these two lines is given as that they both are perpendicular to each other. We have to find the value of k. It's very simple. Whenever, just like focus on this, whenever it's given that two lines are parallel, two lines are perpendicular, that means we have to use this information that we have is that if two lines are perpendicular, they are negative reciprocal of each other. Their slope is always the negative reciprocal of each other. And if two lines are parallel, then their slopes are always equals to each other. And since in this case it's mentioned that L1 is perpendicular to L2, that means I first need to calculate their slopes, and they are negative reciprocal of each other. So just put that in the given concept or the formula. So here this equation is already in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Whenever the equation of a line is given and you want to calculate the slope, it's just you have to convert into y is equals to mx plus c form, which is called slope form. So y equals mx plus c. Here clearly if I'm gonna compare it, I'll get m1 as 2. That means the slope of the first line is 2. Now for the second one, I have to convert into again y equals mx plus c, which is, it's not in that. So it would be 6y, and bringing all the other variables and numbers on right hand side will give you negative kx plus 12. Finally, dividing both the sides by 6, I'll get y is equals to negative kx over 6 plus 12 over 6. Which is y is equals to minus kx over 6 plus 2. Now it's clearly in the form of y equals mx plus c, and on comparing I'll get my m2 as negative k over 6. And I know that if two lines are perpendicular to each other, they are negative reciprocal of each other. That means m1 is equals to negative 1 over m2. That's the meaning of negative reciprocal. So in place of m1, I'll write 2. And in place of m2, I'll write negative k over 6. So negative 1 over negative k over 6. So I'll cross multiply. That means this whole will go up there. Or I can say multiply both the sides by negative k over 6. So multiplying both the sides, I'll get 2 times k over 6 equals 1. And k over 3 is equals to 1. And finally multiplying both the sides by 3, you'll get k is equals to 3. So this is how we can calculate the value of k. Moving on to the next question. Now question 16 says, here is a sphere. 3 by 8 of the surface area of the sphere is 75 pi centimeters squared. That means what's given is that this is a sphere and 3 by 8 of the surface area of, that means not the complete surface area, but the 3 by 8th part of the surface area of this sphere is 75 pi. Now find the diameter and also give your answer in the form of a root b. That means your answer should be in surd form. So if 3 by 8 area, surface area, so 3 by 8 surface area of a sphere is 75 pi. And we know that the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So 3/8 times 4 pi r squared is 75 pi. 4 times 1, 4 times 2 will give you 3 pi r squared over 2 is equals to 75 pi. Now dividing both the sides by pi, I can cancel pi on both the sides, will give me 3r squared over 2 equals 75. Now, in order to remove this denominator, I need to multiply both the sides by 2. So 3r squared is 150. And finally, dividing both the sides by 3, r squared is equals to 50. If r squared is equals to 50, so r will be the root of 50, which then can be simplified and written as 5 root 2. If you know the surds, how to simplify surds, you know that we can write root 50 as 5 root 2. So r is 5 root 2. Now let me show you, if you are not aware how to simplify the surd, let me show you. Root 50. Just write down the prime factors of 50. Prime factors is nothing but by using the factor tree method, finding all the prime numbers, when I multiply them together, it will give me 50. So it's nothing but 2 times 5 times 5. Or I can write 2 into 25. If this you find much simpler, I generally, what I do, I find the prime factor and just find the pairs. 5 is in pairs, so I'll bring it outside of the root, and 2 is single, has no pair, will remain inside the root, and I can write 5 root 2. If you find like this more simpler, like 5 into 5 is 25 into 2, or root of 25 times root of 2 will give you 5 root 2. So whatever works for you, you can do, but the previous one, as generally I prefer, you have to find the prime factors and then make the pairs. The pairs will come out as single. That means 5 into 5 is in pair, so 1 5 will come out of the root, and which is unpaired will remain inside the root. So radius is 5 root 2, but they are asking you to calculate diameter, and diameter is twice of radius. So diameter is twice of r. Finally, this will be 10 root 2. Moving on to the next question, I'll write down the answer here as 10 root 2. Make x the subject of the formula. So it's simple. Y is equals to 4 times 2, 8x, minus 4 times 7 is 28, over 5x plus 3. If you want to make x a subject, you just have to bring all the x's on one side, and for that, obviously, I need to make them in one single line, no denominator. And for that, I'll be multiplying 5x plus 3. This whole denominator, I need to multiply to both the sides, so that I can remove the denominator. So y times 5x plus 3 equals 8x minus 28. Expanding, I'll get 5yx plus 3y equals 8x minus 28. As I told you, you have to bring all the x's on one side and the number variable on to the other side. So I'll be writing like this, 5yx, and now bringing x to other side. That means like bringing x here. So it will be minus 8x. And this 3y will go there because we don't want it. So it will be minus 28 minus 3y. I'll take out x as common. So remaining is 5y minus 8 equals minus 28 minus 3y. Finally, because I want x to be alone, so finally I need to divide both the sides by 5y minus 8. So x equals minus 28 minus 3y over 5y minus 8. Or if you want to remove the negative sign, it would be written as taking out negative out as common. It's 28 plus 3y over taking out negative as common. This will be 8 minus 5y. Cancelling it out, your final answer is 28 plus 3y over 8 minus 5y. Moving on to the next question. It says 7 kg of carrots and 5 kg of tomatoes cost a total of 480 pence. Cost of 1 kg of carrots to the ratio cost of 1 kg of tomatoes is 5:9. Work out the cost of 1 kg of carrots and the cost of 1 kg of tomatoes. So we know that let me represent carrots with C and tomatoes with T would be much simpler for me. So 7 kgs of carrots plus 5 kgs of tomatoes equals 480 pence. Now cost of 1 kg of carrot to the 1 kg of tomatoes is 5:9. That means ratio of carrots to tomato is 5/9. I need to work out the cost of 1 kg of tomatoes and 1 kg of carrots. That means I need to calculate the value of C and T. So from here I can write, if I multiply both the sides by T, I'll get C as 5/9T. And I just need to plug in this value here. So this will be 7 times 5/9T plus 5T equals 480. So this will be 35T/9 plus 5T equals 480. This will be on taking LCM because its denominator is 1. So I need to multiply this with 9 and this with 9 to make the denominator same. So this will be 35T/9 plus 45T/9 equals 480. Now 35 plus 45 is 80. I'm writing it here. 80T/9 equals 480. Finally, multiplying both the sides by 9, 80T equals 480 into 9. And dividing both the sides by 80, so T is 480 into 9 over 80. So cancelling, 8 times 6. So 9 times 6 is 54. So I get to know that the 1 kg of tomato is 54 pence. And now substituting the value of T as 54 here, I'll get C is equals to 5/9 into 54. So C is equals to 6 and finally answer is 30. So 1 kg of carrot is 30. The next question says the menu in a restaurant has starters, main courses and desserts. There are 5 starters, there are 12 main courses and X desserts. There are 420 different ways to choose 1 starter, 1 main course and 1 dessert. Work out the value of X. So basically, already it's given that there are 420 different ways to choose 1 starter, 1 main course and 1 dessert. So how many available options that we have right now is there are 5 starters and I can choose 1 starter out of it. So it will be 5. Obviously, if I can choose 1 starter out of 5 starter, that means I have 5 different options. And whether I'm doing probability or I'm doing combination permutation, if there is an and in between, it's always multiplication. If there is or in between, it's always about the addition. Because we have to choose 1 starter, 1 main course and 1 dessert. So 5 options I have for desserts multiplied by, there are 12 main courses. So I have 12 different options. So 12 multiplied by, I have x desserts. So I have x options, and this is equals to 420, which means 60x equals 420, and dividing both the sides by 60, x is 420 over 60, which is 7. That means x is 7. I have 7 desserts. Moving on to the next one. For x greater than equals 0, the functions f and g are such that f of x is 3x plus 4 and g of x is root x plus 2 over 5. We have to calculate g inverse x basically. So if we have to calculate g inverse of x, our main focus is this gx, that's it. So what I'll do, I'm just replacing gx with y, and it will remain as it is. Whenever we have to calculate the inverse, we have to make x the subject. So multiplying both the sides by 5, I'll get 5y equals root x plus 2. Subtracting 2 to the both sides, 5y minus 2 is equals to root x. And we are making x the subject. So at the very end, I have to square it to get the value of x. So x is 5y minus 2 whole squared. Once I make x a subject, I need to replace x with f of inverse. But in this case, it's g. So g of inverse x, and y will be replaced with x. So x is g of inverse x, and y will be replaced with x. So final answer would be 5x minus 2 whole squared. And this is your final answer. So what's g of x inverse x? It's nothing. It's just 5x minus 2 whole squared. This is how we can find inverse of any function. Moving on to the next one. It says solve g of fx. So I need to start with this one, the outer function, because suppose if it's gx equals x. So g of 1 is what? I will replace x with 1. If it's g of fx, so then I'll replace x with fx. So whatever the value I am substituting here in this bracket, this is actually the value of x that I'm substituting. So when I write here g of x is equals to root x plus 2 over 5. So now here in this bracket, in place of x, it's fx now. So that means wherever I have x, I need to replace it with fx. So I can write f of x, substituting x as f of x. So wherever I can see x, I need to replace it with f of x. So this is going to be g of f of x. And on right hand side, I'll do the same. That means wherever I can see x, I have to replace it with f of x. So it's going to be root of f of x plus 2 over 5. Then we cannot leave our answer in terms of f of x. It has to be x. So this is the time to sub in the value of fx, which is 3x plus 4. So finally, this is going to be root of 3x plus 4 plus 2 over 5. This is given as this g of fx is already equals to 3. That means this whole value is nothing but equals to 3. So multiplying both the sides by 5, it will be 15 is equals to root of 3x plus 4 plus 2. Now transposing, 15 minus 2 is 13, root of 3x plus 4. Now squaring both the sides, we'll get 169 is equals to 3x plus 4. Now subtracting 4 to both the sides, this is 165 is equals to 3x. And finally dividing both the sides by 3. So x is equals to 165 over 3. So this is 55. So final answer, final value of x is 55. A, B and D are the points on a circle with center O. CDE is the tangent to the circle at D. Work out the size of angle ADC. So angle ADC is this angle. We have to calculate this angle. So first thing is, it's given as that CDE is a tangent. If there is a tangent and it's touching the radius, we know according to the circle theorem that this angle is always 90 degrees. So I would be saying OD is perpendicular to CE because angle between, and they have specifically mentioned write down any circle theorem that you're using. Even if it's not mentioned, you are supposed to write down the circle theorems every time. So angle between the radius and tangent is always 90 degrees. So now if I would be able to calculate this angle, the remaining angle is easier to calculate, that is 90 minus whatever be the value. So we have to calculate this angle. For that, obviously we first have to focus on this one. If angle this one DOB or BOD, if angle BOD is 64, clearly angle DAB is half of it, which is 32 degrees. Why? Because this is angle subtended at the center by arc BC. Now this is the angle subtended at the circumference by arc BD, and this is always half of the angle that is being subtended at the center. So angle subtended by angle subtended by an arc at the center is always twice its circumference. That means this is going to be half of what is being subtended at the center. In this triangle, now I have this angle which is 32. This is 51. So this is going to be 180 minus 32 plus 51, because sum of all the angles of a given triangle is always 180 degrees. So this angle is 97. So this angle will also be 97 degrees. So I would be saying that angle, let me say this be n. I'm just giving it n because there is no name or the letter given for the intersection. So angle A and B would be 180 minus 32 plus 51, which will be 97. Similarly, angle O and D will be 97 degrees. This is 97. So this is also going to be 97. I know it seems to be very small. So we have calculated this one as 32. This one is 97. So this is also going to be 97 by vertically opposite angles. So this is 90, so this is 97 as well. Now in the triangle, because I have named it N, so now in triangle O and D, again I'll be applying the same angle sum property. So I would be saying angle ODN. That means I'm talking about this angle. This angle is what? 180 minus 64 plus 97, which is 19 degrees. If this is 19 degrees, this whole is 90 degrees. So we have to calculate what? This one. That's the question. Question is all about calculating ADC, this one. So I know this one is 19 and this whole is 90. So angle ADC would be 90 minus 19, which is 71 degrees. Now you might be saying why it's 90. I just explained here that the angle between the radius and the tangent is always 90 degrees. That means this whole is going to be 90 degrees. So moving on to the next question. A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H is a cuboid. The figure that you can see is basically a cuboid. AF is equals to 6.8 centimeters. So AF is what? This one, this whole. That is height is 6.8. So every time you can say ED, HC, GB, these all are height of this cuboid and it's going to be equals to 6.8 centimeters. FC is 13.6 centimeters. So FC is what? It's this one. This FC is nothing but 13.6 centimeters. That means this is nothing but the diagonal of a cuboid. So we have to work out the size of angle FC and the plane ABCD. So let me just draw the line FC joining them. This is FC and this FA. These two values are already given. Let me write down, this is 13.6. You have to work out the size of the angle FC and the plane ABCD. This is the whole plane ABCD. And that means this angle that it's making with this plane that they're asking. So simple. If I'm talking about there is a line that is making an angle with the plane, so how would I find from where it's making? It's simple. If the plane is being mentioned, that means the angle is always between the diagonal of that plane. So whole plane ABCD is mentioned, so I have to draw the diagonal of this, which would be this one. So that means if they're saying this is the angle between FC and plane ABCD, it's nothing but FC and the diagonal of ABCD, which is AC. It means they are asking us to calculate this angle. We have this triangle, it's a right angle triangle, it's a simple trigonometry we have to apply. We have hypotenuse, we have opposite, because if this is the angle, the side opposite to it is opposite. So the trigonometric ratio or function that connects the hypotenuse and opposite is sin. So sin of angle C is opposite over hypotenuse. So sin C is half. You should know some basic values, which is what is sin 0, cos 0, tan 0. Similarly for 30, 45, 60 and 90. These you have to learn. In my videos, I have already explained how to do it, and as I'm running the quick revision for 45 days, so there also I'll be explaining it. So finally, C is sine inverse of half, which is nothing but 30 degrees. So final answer is 30 degrees. Moving on to the next question. Write 3 root 2, 3 root 3 over 4 minus root 3 minus 2 over root 3 in this form. So this is 3 root 3 over 4 minus root 3 minus 2 over root 3. Whenever we solve any fraction, whenever we subtract or add any fraction, doesn't matter if it has a surd number in denominator or whatever, we have to make denominator same. We have to find LCM, but in this case we can clearly see there's nothing common here, so we just need to multiply these. That means I need to multiply the numerator by root 3 and denominator by root 3. Similarly, I'll multiply 4 minus root 3 and here also 4 minus root 3. In this way I can clearly, and you can clearly see, I have made the denominator same. Now, this is 3 root 3 times 3, which is 9, minus 2 times 4 is 8. And this is minus already. So minus 2 times minus 2 root 3 is plus 2 root 3. And denominator is root 3 times 4 minus root 3. 9 minus 8 is 1 plus 2 root 3. Expand this, 4 root 3. And root 3 times root 3 is minus 9. Now this is not the end of our answer because they're expecting you to write in this format, which is a root 3 plus b over c, and c is an integer clearly mentioned. That means I have a third number in my denominator. I need to multiply and divide with the denominator. This is called rationalization. A rationalization of third number is a process in which we make the denominator an integer. So I'll multiply it with 4 root 3 but with plus 9 sign. This sign will get changed. If it's plus, it will become negative. If it's negative, it will become positive. So 4 root 3 plus 9. Now, it's 1 plus 2 root 3 times 4 root 3 plus 9 over 4 root 3 minus 9 times 4 root 3 plus 9. So 1 times 4 root 3 is 4 root 3. 1 times 9 is plus 9. It's basic expansion of the bracket I'm doing. 2 root 3 times 4 root 3 is 24. And 2 root 3 times 9 plus 2 root 3 times 9, which is 18 root 3. Now this is a plus b, a minus b, okay? So same numbers but are separated by positive and negative signs. So it would be directly 4 root 3 whole square minus 9 squared. If you have this format a plus b times a minus b, the expansion is directly a squared minus b squared. Same I have applied here. Now simplifying this will be 22 root 3 plus 33 over 4 root 3 whole squared is 48 and this is minus 81. And 3 root 3 times root 3 times root 3 is 3. Now clearly you can see that they want it in this format a root 3 plus b over c, where a, b, c are integers. That means they want an integer number in denominator. But we have a third number. So we have to do rationalization. So rationalization is basically a process in which we convert the third number into an integer. If there's a third number in denominator, we have to make it an integer. The process says if there's a third number and there's another number, it can be a third, it can be an integer, but there are two terms separated by positive or negative sign, I have to multiply same with opposite sign. That means I'll multiply it with 4 root 3 plus 3. And this will also be 4 root 3 plus 3. So multiplying 1 plus 2 root 3 times 4 root 3 plus 3 over 4 root 3 minus 3 times 4 root 3 plus 3. So now expanding, 1 times 4 root 3 is 4 root 3. 1 times 3 is plus 3. 2 root 3 times 4 root 3 is 24. 8 times 3, yeah, 24. Plus 6 root 3 over. Now this is a plus b times a minus b. You can expand it how we expand any double brackets, but there's a short trick. If it's a plus b times a minus b, that means numbers are same, but one time separated by negative sign, one time separated by positive sign. Directly answer would be a squared minus b squared, which means 4 root 3 whole squared minus 3 whole squared. Simplifying, 4 root 3 plus 6 root 3 will give you 10 root 3. And 24 plus 3 is 27. Over 4 root 3 whole squared is 48. And this is minus 9. So this is ultimately 10 root 3 plus 27 over 39, and that's your final answer. Now, this is the last question. Find the set of the possible values of x for which 4x squared minus 25 is less than 0. You must show all your working. And 12 minus 5x minus 3x squared. So basically these two are quadratic inequalities and we have to solve them separately. And then we have to find the overlapping inequality, or the common inequality, that will be our answer. So first is 4x squared minus 25. If I'll factorize it, this will be, we just saw, right? A plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared. We can apply in opposite way as well. This can be written as 2x whole squared minus 5 squared less than 0. Or the factors are going to be 2x plus 5 times 2x minus 5 less than 0. Now, whenever we solve a quadratic inequalities, we should have the two roots. So 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5, if I'll replace this inequality sign with equals to sign, I'll get the roots of the equation, the value of x1 and x2. So 2x plus 5 times 2x minus 5 equals 0. From here, x1 will be 5 over 2 and x2 will be, like x1 is negative 5 over 2, x2 is positive 5 over 2. So here it is minus 5 over 2, it is plus 5 over 2. Now we know these two are basically roots, so I'll draw a rough diagram of the quadratic curve or the parabola. Now this I have replaced with equals to sign only to find roots, but our main aim is to find inequality. So this is less than 0. When I draw a quadratic curve, it divides the whole region into 3 parts. This is positive, this is negative, and this is positive. So if this is lesser than 0, that means it's talking about the negative. If it's greater than 0, that means it's talking about the positive zone. So this is less than 0, that means I need to focus on the negative zone, which means my inequality is all those values of x that are lying in between negative 5 over 2 and positive 5 over 2, which can be written as that x is greater than negative 5 over 2, which is 2.5, and less than positive 2.5. This is my first inequality. Let me focus on the second one. So second one is 12 minus 5x minus 3x squared greater than 0. So if I factorize this one, so what will happen when I factorize? Let's subtract or let's multiply both the sides by negative sign. So when I do this, this will become 3x squared plus 5x minus 12, which is much more easier, less than 0. Now if I factorize this one, my product should be 12 into 2 negative 36 and sum should be 5. So I have to find two numbers. Their sum is 5 but product is negative 36, and such numbers are 9 and negative 4. 9 into negative 4 is negative 36. 9 plus negative 4 is 5. So in place of the middle term, I'll write 9x minus 4x. So 3x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 12 less than 0. Now I'll make pairs. The pair. Taking out 3x as common, x plus 3 is the answer. And taking out minus 4 as common, x plus 3 is answer. So finally 3x minus 4 times x plus 3 less than 0. From here it's easy to find the roots because I need not to every time equate it to 0. From clearly, if I replace less than sign with equals to, I'll get to know that my one value of x would be negative 3. So x1 is negative 3 and x2 would be 4 over 3. So this will be my curve, -3 and -3. This is less than 0. Again, I'll be saying this is positive, negative, positive. And if it's less than 0, I have to find this negative zone. That means x is basically all the values that is lesser than 4/3 but greater than -3 or -3. So I need to see the overlapping inequality. This is my first inequality. This is my second inequality. Clearly, if I draw this one, first inequality is -2.5, +2.5. And this is the first inequality. Second inequality is -3 here and 4/3. 4/3 would be here. This is my second inequality. Final answer is the overlapping of this. That means these two are overlapping. So I would be saying x is basically all the value that is greater than -2.5. So I can write it like this, that x is greater than -2.5 but lesser than 4/3, because this is a common inequality. So lesser than 4/3, and this is our final answer. So that's it for today. We have done all the question of this paper. We are done with this. If you have any doubt, you can just type down your doubt in chat section and I'll try to answer it. So that's it for today. Thank you. Have a great day.